Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 32 of the Anime Banter podcast with your hosts Turtle, Sean, and Mike. Thank you for joining us today. How are you guys doing today?
Pretty good. Pretty good. Don't have too many complaints.
And you can always complain, but who's gonna listen? But I'm dumb.
It's not going to change the price of gas.
Exactly. Hi, everybody at home. Thanks for tuning in. We appreciate it.
No, and we're gonna do things a little differently. Sometimes we go a little off topic at the beginning. We talk about what's going on in our lives, but we watched these two episodes and felt that there was actually a good bit to talk about, which is very bizarre considering the type of show this is. But we're going to dive right into our review. So today we're talking about episodes 7 and 8 of Reborn as a Vending Machine. I Now Wander the Dungeon. Episode 7, The Voracious Devils. The episode starts with the explosion from last episode to remind us of where we left off. Boxo falls through the ground of the stratum, and to slow his fall, he has to get a little innovative. He becomes a balloon vending machine, vends all these balloons, and then he realizes he's still too heavy, so the barriers capture all the balloons, and he turns himself into a tiny little cardboard vending machine. And he's super light, so his descent into the labyrinth is extremely slow. Pretty good thinking on Box's part, otherwise he probably would have just taken 1,000,000 damage and blown into 1,000,000,000 pieces. As he's falling, he notices that there is a labyrinth, and he uses a security camera to take some pictures of it, which is pretty smart. But he hasn't really done anything with the security camera so far, so I guess he can reference his files, but he, at this point, hasn't found a way to share those files with anyone.
I found that a little. Well, I guess it wasn't plot convenient because Director Bear asked him to do security before, so I guess he has captured stuff using his security camera. Originally I was going to be like, oh, that seemed like a very convenient plot point, but then I remembered about the surveillance in the earlier episode.
And they have these, at least like you can go to Walmart over here in the States and you can get some pictures on a SD card or a flash drive and you can go to the kiosk and just print them out. So maybe like he can get a vending machine that just prints out his security pictures.
That's a good point. We have picture vending machines here. Pretty sure.
The one vending machine I was very curious about was the cardboard vending machine.
Yeah, I thought that was really weird. I've never heard of that before.
I was also very confused. Was this like the world's first vending machine? I don't really get it. Like, what does it vend?
Cardboard. It's like, is it like when he said cardboard vending machine? I'm like a cardboard compactor. Because I've seen those. Like you take, especially 'cause my dad worked at a print shop, so like they would have like a shitload of cardboard boxes, and like they would just throw it in, and like it would like tie up all the loose cardboard into like nice little compact like stacks instead of it just being like loose cardboard stacked on stacked on stacked.
Oh, okay.
But like looked like he himself turned into cardboard.
I thought he mentioned that it's the vending machine is made out of cardboard. It's for like little kids in like kindergarten, so they can't hurt themselves. They can push a button and something safe falls out of it. I don't know, but it's made out of cardboard, which I thought was kind of interesting.
It looks like if you get a refrigerator box and you draw some pictures on it,
Yeah,
like that's what he looked like. It was very bizarre. I've never seen anything like that before. I guess we can move on from is cardboard vending machine breaking the rules, which I kind of think it is.
cheater. He's cheating.
Fox is like, screw the rules, I have points.
Screw the rules. I have cardboard.
Speaking of points, though, he does have a safe landing. The coin's on the ground next to him, and he wonders if he can pick it up somehow. So he thinks, how can I upgrade myself to pick up this coin? Let's see how many points I have. And he has 1,000,000 points. As it turns out, defeating monsters gets you points. So defeating the boss boosted his points big time. He starts looking through his upgrades and features. Now, I was thinking during this time, like, dude, you can't afford an upgrade. You might be stranded in this labyrinth for a year and you need those points to tick down. But he doesn't think about that. He ends up choosing an ability named Vending Machine Rank Up. And I thought, how does a vending machine rank up? But apparently he unlocked a bunch of new things. a coin-operated vacuum cleaner being one of them. He turns into the vacuum cleaner and he sucks up the coin and it goes right to his inventory. I got really excited last episode because I said, "Oh, I bet that coin does something real good. Like he's gonna put it in the slot and it's gonna get him 1 billion points or something, and he's gonna use it to do stuff." Well, he got points anyway, and then the coin does nothing right now.
But we'll come back to that.
Oh yeah, we do come back to that. Yeah.
I love how even he's like, "Oh, I should see what this coin does," and it's just like crocodile, eight-legged crocodile coin. That's it. Like even when he tried to like run a diagnostic on what the coin did, it's just like, just a coin.
And by the way, one of the upgrades that jumped out to me was a kerosene pump, and I don't know, all I could think about was the gas fight scene from Zoolander. I don't know if you guys have seen Zoolander, but the guys fight with gasoline and then they all blow up and die because they're idiots. So that's what I was thinking with the kerosene, the gasoline fight. Oh, and we learned a new Boxo rule that had not been relevant before, but is now. Apparently, has a 2-hour time limit per day that he can be in a form other than his base form, which I was kind of surprised about because I kind of figured he'd probably already been in other forms for more than 2 hours.
I sort of thought that too. I'm like, this feels like a convenient plot point just to like make sure he can't be like super OP in the labyrinth.
I'm wondering if I'm like maybe I misheard. I thought it was like the new forms he acquired he can only be in that form for 2 hours. But maybe I misunderstood.
Oh, maybe I misheard.
I could be wrong. I don't know. But yeah, that felt like it came out of nowhere. All of a sudden, there's a 2 hour time limit.
Because he talked about transforming to things like the ramen machine for very long periods of time.
And at night when he's hanging out with the guards, he's probably taking all kinds of forms for them to eat all the food. So
Mm-hmm.
he's doing that all night, not for 2 hours.
Boxo transforms back, and there's a scene bumper that takes us to the next day, or maybe it skips a couple days. Boxo is shown during another beautiful day. He bought solar power function so he can soak up some rays to keep himself going without expending points during the day, which is pretty genius. No humans have come by, but his spirits are still pretty high. All of a sudden, little animal people being chased what looks like some orcs. That's kind of what they look like to me, at least. Boxo launches some items at the orcs and scares them away. The animals are now curious about Boxo. Boxo starts talking and it scares them. He calls them bears, no cats, maybe bear cats. That made me laugh. So he scares them, and to earn their trust, he pops out some fried chicken for them. They think it's a trap, but they're hungry. And while listening to them debate eating the food, Boxo learns their names. Mikane is their leader. Suko has droopy ears. Pell is the chubby guy. Short has darker fur. That's how he chooses to differentiate them. Leader, droopy ears, chubby, dark fur.
I love I love how Boxer when he just meets some new like animal or like potential enemy, he's just like, here, have fried chicken. I mean, he threw fried chicken at the king or the crocodile fiend.
And that got him eaten.
These guys weren't in any rush to eat him, but he does find out they're a group called the Voracious Devils. And it turns out they're Tasmanian devils, so we don't have to call them Bearcats anymore. We could just call them Tasmanian devils, or maybe devils for short. They eventually spend all their coins on food. They spend a ton of money all the time, apparently, and come to this stratum to make some quick cash off treasure. They decide that Boxo's their treasure. And Boxo says, too bad, and scares them because they're so jumpy. They come to the conclusion that he's sentient, because Boxo can only say canned phrases. They then come to the conclusion that there's no way that Boxo is actually sentient.
I get a laugh out of every time Boxer's like, haha, new customers, so much money. It's like for him being the hero, he sounds so sinister whenever he like makes new customers.
I'm starting to wonder if Boxo is not the villain. He's taking everybody's cash.
He's just eating it. How evil. The devils determine that Boxo is treasure. Boxo probably doesn't really like that, but he also wants to leave here. The devils can't push him, but Boxo apparently has a wheels upgrade, and so he puts wheels on himself. Short mentions that if they this part threw me for a loop. I was livid. I was so mad when I heard this. Short says, "Hey, he makes a lot of food. We could sell him to that Chains restaurant and make a fortune." And I was like, "No. Don't tell me this is seriously going to be the plot. They get him out of here, they sell him to Chains, and then now they have to rescue him from Chains."
Chains is back.
They're like, oh, remember that restaurant we just fought against? Yeah, we're gonna bring them back.
This was their plan all along. I knew we'd see them again.
We know how much Sean loves this character, so we're gonna make it very much recurring. Season 2, it's gonna be the main antagonist.
We're gonna see the new owner of Chains is Gargoyle.
That would be funny, actually. Yeah, no gargoyle in these 2 episodes, by the way.
No, I was kind of shocked.
He got his nudie mag, he's happy now.
We'll never see him again.
I was gonna say he was actually just brutally executed for stealing Boxo, probably. So maybe not executed, maybe captured and thrown in prison. Boxo tries to teach the devils about him by messing with the barrier, but it just scares them again. They're always scared. He tries communicating through his electronic light-up signage, but even with the sign can only say the canned phrases. Not to mention, none of these people can read Japanese.
That seems like a really useless feature.
I was sort of thinking the same. It's like, hold on, Boxer's able to communicate with these people verbally. Like, why would he not be able? I mean, I guess he's never seen the language written out, maybe. But it's like, you would think there'd be some way for him to translate from Japanese to the language of the dungeon.
Or more importantly, change what's on the sign.
It's his sign. You think he could just use it?
Like, even if it's just, hello, I'm Boxo.
Just being able to type out whatever you want and not just the same canned phrases that he can use. It's pointless. Can he like return that skill and get his points back? Because that's what I would want to do.
No refunds.
Dang.
And we finally learned that those orcs from earlier are actually called huge hogs. I was thinking, oh, like a play on hedgehogs. And I looked at them and I'm like, no, they're not hedgehogs. They're just actually huge hogs like pigs.
The naming in this show, top notch. It's like, that's a big looking pig thing. What should we name it? Oh, I know. We'll call it a huge hog.
I mean, they could have went with orcs because a lot of those fantasy type shows just call them orcs. So I mean, at least I give them credit for being funny.
Boxer determines that they have to fight the huge hogs. So he turns into the kerosene pump. I didn't think we'd see the kerosene pump. I thought it was just written on the screen for no reason, but no, here we are. And he realizes, oh no, I can't actually take the pump off of me. It's stuck to him because that's just the way those work. And then there's the ground shakes and the pump falls on the ground. And Boxer's really happy, but I was thinking, did the ground just shake? Is that what knocked this off of here? Like, did you not notice?
I thought that whole scene was very weird. It's like, oh, what caused that? It's like, well, the huge hogs are coming and pretty much caused an earthquake.
I didn't even notice the ground shake. I just saw it like fall to the floor. And I was like, what happened?
Well, once it's on the ground, he starts dispensing kerosene and all the huge hogs slip and fall. I was ready for him to do the microwave trick and light it on fire. But he didn't have to. Because the thing that made the kerosene pump fall off from the shock of the ground was the movement of a flame skeletitan.
Whoa!
Which is a huge walking flaming skeleton.
Kind of cool idea for a monster, actually.
Yeah, I didn't hate it.
The Attack on Titan collaboration nobody knew existed.
Yeah.
Flaming Skeleton, go!
You know how Home Depot sells those 12-foot skeletons?
Yeah.
My wife wants one of those so badly.
Well, you should buy it for her.
Our dog would lose his mind.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't think about that.
Yeah, he probably would, wouldn't he?
And then they need to sell a way that you can set it on fire to make your own flame skeleton. Like safely light it on fire. I mean, with enough kerosene, anything can be lit on fire.
It would probably just like melt down though, wouldn't
Yeah, pretty fast, I think. Yeah, just melt the
it?
plastic. The next scene, did anyone else think this was a little disturbing? Whenever this flame skeleton just picks up the huge hogs and just starts eating them.
For how lighthearted and like comfortable this show is, it can get real dark very quickly.
You always got to be careful in a dungeon.
They remind you how high the stakes are. Luckily, the flame skeleton ate them and then just kind of moved on after feasting. So I guess everyone got lucky that the skeleton was done doing his business. After that, the devils are sleeping and Boxo wakes them up. They're floating flaming skulls. If they're found, then it'll summon the flame skeleton to devour them. So apparently I guess he has scouts.
He's got minions.
Boxo gives the devils a bottle of water they use to put out the flames, and then they break the skulls with their tiny little fists. Surprisingly quick and strong for such tiny creatures. They mention that Boxo gives them what they need when they need it. It's almost like he's sentient. Nah. The devils walk Boxo close to the entrance, and they hear fighting near the entrance. They mention they can hear Director Bear, who's with a group of adventurers. They explain that someone who sounds just like Lammus's description is there. They roll Boxo up to the adventurers. Lammus sees him, and she hugs him. And that hug did 120 points of damage.
She's beating the hell out of poor Boxo.
I think Boxo has taken more damage from Lammus than any other character in the show.
Absolutely.
For sure. But everyone's happy and crying that Boxo lived. All's well that ends well. The devils and the Menagerie of Fools meet up. The Menagerie of Fools explains that Boxo is sentient. And the devils were like, "Are you sure?" But I guess they finally get it.
Like, I love how they're like, okay, well, we're gonna do all these tests, and then they're like, "Are you really sure he sent?" It's like you just did the test, he passed. You have everyone explaining the code. They're like, "Yeah, but is he really sentient, or are you just playing a prank on us?"
I love at the end, like when they finally get it, like, oh yeah, everyone's like, yes, he's definitely sentient, and they're all four like, oh no way, I'm shocked. They're very animated, these little guys.
I love them. I absolutely love them, and they're super adorable.
They are.
Every show has to have that animal mascot type of character, and I think we found ours. But that's the end of that episode, so we're going to move on to Mike's Beer of the Week.
And now it is time for Mike's Beer of the Week. This week's Beer of the Week comes to you from Toppling Goliath, and it is their Pseudo Sue. This is one of my favorite pale ales out there. It has a nice juicy flavor profile with citrus, mango, and passion fruit. It's a 5.8% beer, so it's not a beer you can really drink all day without feeling a little buzzed, but definitely a good beer that you could have after a long day, either outside in the hot weather or just like, you know what, I want something juicy to come down at the end of the night. Great beer. This is one of those beers where I don't know anyone who doesn't like it that has tried it. Like they try it and they're like, "Holy crap, this beer is amazing," and they all love it. So yeah, this is one of those beers that I can give to like non-beer friends, beer friends, and they're all very much they very much enjoy it. So if you're looking for a pale ale, if you're looking for something juicy with a nice fruit profile, definitely check out the Toppling Goliath Pseudo Sue. I think you'll really like it. The untapped average rating is a 4.12, and I give it a 4.25.
Episode 8, The Flame Skeleton of the Labyrinth Stratum. Director Bear wants people to defeat the Skeleton. Kirill tells of legends of the labyrinth, so that anyone who reaches the bottom of the labyrinth may be granted any wish they want to make. It's a very intriguing plot point, and I feel like it's kind of where this story's headed. Maybe someone's going to wish for Boxer to be able to talk or become a human again, Or maybe Boxo, if it's up to him, he's like, "Oh boy, wonder what kind of cool goods I could vend if I had a wish."
I'm never gonna quit being a vending machine.
Yeah, I would just ask for infinite points if I was
There you
Boxo.
go.
And he seems okay actually not being able to communicate with people and happy enough just dispensing items. Um I'm just saying that if I got isekai into a vending machine, I would not be happy. But this was one strange man in life.
Yeah, it's like we don't know much about when he was a human, but it's like if you're happier being a vending machine, like how bad was your life? And like they sort of touch on that later in the episode too. Like his can't deciding on his indecision on if he'd rather be a vending machine or a human, or it seems like he's had a rough life.
What's really scary to me is like by the end of this, which we'll get there when he's contemplating like, should I be a human or not? The show has given him so many like crazy abilities. I can almost side with being a vending machine, and that scares me.
Yeah, I mean we could just kind of skip to that a little bit cuz he does go back and forth on whether he wants to be a human or a vending machine. And we don't always have to go linear in these episodes because it's extremely relevant to talk about it right now. He talks about if he wasn't a vending machine anymore, the reason everyone likes him is because he can vend all this stuff. If he was a human, he brings nothing to the table. He's not from this world. He doesn't have magic. He's not a fighter. He really brings nothing to the table. And he's like, as a vending machine, I'm useful to people. As a human, I'm not.
What if he wishes to become human and he still keeps all the vending machine traits and he could just like spit random shit out like from his hands or something?
I want to be a human vending machine and not a vending machine that vends humans.
I was thinking that too, though. Like, what if he could just ask for the ability to transform between vending machine and human, so he could live his life like a
Oh,
human and just become a vending machine when it's useful.
oh, okay. You know what? I wouldn't hate that.
That would actually be a good wish for him to make.
Now, the story won't make that.
No.
I know how these shows go. I have a funny feeling I know what's gonna happen at the end
Uh oh.
if they get their wishes. And here's what's gonna happen.
Prediction time.
Yep, here's what's gonna happen. There's a 0% chance he becomes a human. That's just not what happens in isekais. You just don't do that. I I actually don't even. I predict that he will be pretty much exactly the same as he is now. I almost guarantee it. In fact, I bet he won't even be able to say more than his canned phrases.
Wow.
Yeah, he'll probably have to use the coin to like save Lamus's life or something like that.
That's sort of what was going to say. He's probably going to be like, "Oh, I can wish for this." And then something terrible is going to happen to Lamas or the village, and he'll make a self-sacrifice to save her or the village with his wish.
Yeah, that's fair. That's probably that's a safe bet. I could see that
Because
happening.
it seems like for how rare these stratas are, the coins are pretty out there pretty frequently. It's like when Carrie was like, "Oh, I'll buy it off you for 100 gold," and Director Bear's like, "Oh yeah, that's about the going rate." It's like, wait, how are these things? If they're that rare, how are they just on the market?
But at the same time, they did talk about how the Stratum Lords only show up maybe once every few years in a lot of cases. We're seeing a lot of them here, but maybe once one's out there, a lot of people just don't really have a way to defeat them, so they just kind of stay out there.
That's a good point.
And if they do have a way to defeat them, even if they have the coin, they may not have the proper resources to get to the bottom of the labyrinth and conquer it. So they have to sell it because they're like, well, it's either I sell it or that's it. Like I just don't do anything else with it.
Maybe your wish is money and you can just get that by selling the coin.
Well, I have some theories on that as well. But not only do you have to make to the bottom of the labyrinth, they said you have to conquer the labyrinth. And I'm like, what does that mean? Does that mean beat the Skeletitan? Like, what is conquering the labyrinth to me? Maybe I misheard it or misinterpreted it, but I don't even know what that means. But anyway, Kirill explains that between the menagerie members, There's 6 wishes total, and some of them actually share the same wish, I think he said. So they can kind of split the wish. But they actually have 3 coins between them already. So 3 out of 6 isn't bad, right?
Yeah.
Boxer thinks about what his wish would be, and of course, he just thinks about becoming a super high performance vending machine because that's what he does. Kirill drops the bomb, though, that if he works with them, maybe get his soul back in a human body. That's what we just kind of just discussed about. And Hulumi and Lamus are really excited about it. Boxo, not so much. Kirill says they're going to go stratum to stratum, slaying lords, and they want Boxo to go with them. Boxo confirms that he has a coin. Helios and Boxo officially join the Menagerie of Fools as well to help going stratum to stratum to get coins for wishes. Hulumi agrees to go as well, though they didn't guarantee Hulumi a coin because they didn't officially invite her, but I think she might just enjoy being along for the ride. Boxo thinks about being human again. He's kind of depressed about it, but at night, Lamus and Hulumi sleep against Boxo, and he says, well, if I had a human body, I could actually feel the girl's warmth, which might be nice. I'd like to take a minute and figure out how old he was when he died and how old these girls are. I'm throwing out there, he's like, man, I could feel their warmth. And I'm like, sir, were you like 35? And if you get turned to a human, are you going to be the same age you were? Either way, whether you're the same age or not, mentally, you are much older than them. So I'm just saying that, maybe there's a good reason he doesn't want to be a human again.
I feel as though it wasn't meant to be creepy, but it definitely came off as creepy.
Yeah, it's just a little creepy for me. I guess I hadn't thought about it in these shows when someone gets isekai'd. Sometimes they're an adult and then they turn into someone who kind of rizzes up teenage girls and uh, anime is not perfect. Some may even say anime was a mistake.
I was gonna say, Boxer's gonna become human and start hanging out with Lamus and Hulumi, and the next episode's gonna be Chris Hansen catches Boxo. Why don't we take a seat right over here?
Let's have a seat. Right
Did
here.
you give those underage girls beer out of the vending
No,
machine?
no, it was lemonade.
It was just tea. Only tea.
Did you hand those girls a toilet and say, use this in front of me? What the heck?
Oh no.
Did you go give those girls one cup?
Oh no. You
Uh,
just wow. Okay. Moving on. Oh my god.
what a weird night.
We are not going there.
In the morning, we cut to Director Bear, who says he needs to get his bearings, and then actually says no pun intended.
I fucking love that.
It was totally intended. That's why he said it.
Director Bear is one of the best characters.
Yeah.
Boxo wonders if he can share his photo of the stratum, and then he eventually finds a way to share his photos. I don't really understand how he did it. I don't know what was that a screen? Like what was that he was sharing it on?
I think it was like a little LCD screen.
Okay.
That's what I thought anyway. I still like the idea of him, vending out photos.
I think that'd be nice. But he's able to help the group fill in the blanks of the maze. So Boxer just keeps delivering. I don't even know how these people ever achieved anything before Boxo.
I don't know if they did.
Actually, nothing really was happening, was it? They're struggling fighting little frog guys.
Here comes this vending machine, saving the day.
Director Bear thinks up a plan. There's a pitfall trap in the dungeon where you press a button on the wall and a big pit opens up. Their plan is to lure the flame skeleton to the door, open the door to the pit, extinguish the flames, and then kill it once the flames are extinguished. Boxo turns into a power washer that sprays water through a hose. It's useful, but Boxer reminds us of the 2 hour per day rule. We end up with a 2 day time skip. They prep their plan. They take out some of the other opponents, like the huge hogs and the flaming skulls we've seen before, while they're waiting. With a group that big and efficient, they just murder them. They take a look and see what their progress was for putting the water in the pit, and it turns out the bottom of the pit is just soaking up the water instead of keeping it. So it's like a swimming pool. It's dirt down there. The dirt's drinking the water. He turns into an ice machine again. He says, maybe I can produce these cubes faster. But he's still a little skeptical about the plan overall.
It was a nice idea.
Yeah, it's not a bad idea, yeah. Lammus asks if Boxo is thinking about something, because apparently he has a tell for when he's thinking hard. His lights flicker a little bit. I guess Lammus is really learning about Boxo here. And she asks him if he really wants to be human again. Once again, he starts questioning, will people like me? Will they miss what I bring to the table as a vending machine? She said that she would like it if he was human and he could taste her cooking. And now he's maybe leaning a little bit more towards human form. Sure will change his mind later.
Or some event will happen like you predicted, and he's gonna choose to stay a vending machine.
Guarantee you that's how this ends. By the way, I've read no spoilers, everyone. But there's only one way this can end. He remains a vending machine.
I mean, there has to be a season 2, right?
No, there does not.
Not in anime land.
That's true.
You might get one 8 years from now if it's considered popular enough.
It's a series of light novels, so like you can buy the light novels and read them to get the rest of the story, but this could just be a one and done.
A lot of times in anime is actually just an advertisement for the manga or the light novels. Like they really want you to buy those and some accompanying merchandise. So the anime, they may even take a little bit of a loss on making the anime, but if it sells more books, then they make it back easy.
Yeah. You watch the show and you're like, wow, I kind of like that, but it didn't finish. I'm going to go get the books. How does it end?
And it works for some stories. It really does.
Yeah.
But as the viewers, you get very angry because you don't want to read the manga. You started the anime, you want to finish the anime.
Yeah. It's tough. It's tough being an anime fan.
In the morning, the flame Skeletitan finds them. They spring the trap. The Skeletitan falls in the pit. And the skeleton's fire's out. The flames are extinguished, but there was no steam, and everyone is very confused about it. Turns out that Boxo wasn't throwing ice, but was throwing dry ice in.
That answers the question from last episode of what Boxo was shooting into the river, at least.
Yes, it did.
Also, the song when the Skeletitan showed up was freaking awesome.
Yeah. It was a good one.
Yeah, it's nice to get some good music during the anime. Some shows do it better than others. So now, you have a flame Skeletitan minus the flame down in a pit. They start just like throwing rocks at it. Like, what are you doing? Did you really not think of anything till this point?
It's like, all right, we're gonna get it in the hole. Okay, yeah, that sounds great. But then what? What do you mean? What then? What? We got it in the hole. Okay.
What more do you want from me?
It's like, but we need to defeat it to get the coin. It's like, yeah, but it's in the hole.
So here's one kind of weird point, though. The Skeletitan's climbing up a little bit, and Boxo says they'll get carbon dioxide poisoning if they go down there because of the way that the dry ice, like the reaction is with the dry ice and the fires. So he essentially was able to extinguish the flames, but made it a death trap for all of his allies if they wanted to jump in and kill everyone. I was thinking, Boxer, what are you doing, dude?
Oops.
No one said they thought this plan all the way through from any angle.
That's a good point. Nobody thought this through all the way.
Yeah, they're debating if they should climb down, and he says hello there by accident. Like, should we climb down? I was like, hello there. And like, so we should. And he's like, too bad, too bad, too bad. Because he doesn't know what to do or how to stop them, so he figures he has to take drastic measures. So he changes his form to the Nudie Magazine Vending Machine.
A perfect choice for this exact situation.
Like, it's like, could you not have came up with any other idea? Like, how can I distract these people? Like, he didn't have like police tape vending machine or something in his system.
Well, I figure you just drop a couple of the nudie magazines in the hole and the skeleton will be busy for a while. Shut the door, done deal.
He's like, skin, I remember when I had that. And then I burned it all off.
Of course, Lemus yells at him, saying, "Boxo, we don't need that right now. Don't be such a pervert." And then she just slaps him because she's mad at him for changing into a nudie magazine machine.
It did 69 points of damage.
And he goes flying right into the pit. And as he's flying down into the hole, he turns into the heaviest vending machine that he can become and busts straight through the flame skeleton. It collapses and Boxo wins again. So here's one thing that I don't get. She is like, "Boxer, you can't go down there. It's way too dangerous." But she has no problem just slapping him as hard as she can. And so he goes flying. And boy, they're lucky that he went flying into the hole and landed on the Skeleton. Because the Skeleton wasn't the size of the entire hole. He could have missed.
That's true. Anime logic.
Yeah. He's sitting on the bottom and they're thinking, we have to get Boxo out of here. He says, oh, they're going to come down here. And they're going to die because I made it a death trap. So it turns into the oxygen machine. He starts blasting oxygen. Next, he turns into the vacuum and he sucks up the coin. And he does the balloon and cardboard trick again and floats himself out of the pit. He's back, and Lemus is mad at him because she was worried. I guess she forgot she's the one who threw him in the pit in the first place.
I was going to say, it's like, you worried me. Don't blame me for hitting you, though. It wasn't my fault when I hit you. You incidentally fell into the hole.
Makes no dang sense. Kirill asks about the coin, and Hulumi snatches it from him and says he didn't earn it. Kirill says, I'll give you 100 gold coins for it, and Director Barry does, like we mentioned before, confirm that's not a bad deal. Boxer says yes, but Kirill says, I can't pay you now, but I'll pay you back when I hit it big.
What are the odds that he actually pays Boxo?
I will gladly pay you Tuesday for a hamburger today. That's a really old reference that nobody's gonna get.
I'll say I don't think I get that one.
It's oh my god, it's Popeye.
Yeah.
What
Cheeseburger.
Wimpy. Wimpy's his name. Yeah, Wimpy loves hamburgers, but he never has any money, so that's his catchphrase. I'll gladly pay you Tuesday for a hamburger today. That's like way old. That's older. That's way older than me.
I was gonna say that is an old ass reference.
I'm going way back with that one.
Popeye the Sailor Man.
Turtle's like, back in my day, Popeye was the coolest man.
Ooh, back in my day, we used to watch cartoons on the black and white TV.
We had anime in the newspaper, man.
I used to read the funny pages.
Growing up, my mom she bought a videotape, and it was like 6 hours of cartoon classics. And it was like cartoons from when my parents were growing up. Like Felix the Cat and Popeye and like the Three Stooges cartoon,
Oh wow.
stuff like that, all on a videotape. And as kids, we watched it because I don't know, we had the videotapes. My mom bought it, so when you're a kid, well, so showing how old I am, we had videotapes, VHS,
Heck yeah.
a simpler time.
I remember the VHS tape. They were great until the machine ate the tape and you couldn't get the thing out and it chewed it up and then you couldn't watch it again. What a wonderful time.
Yeah, we had a video rewinder machine. So like, because the VCR took too long to rewind the tape, so you had to put it in a separate machine to rewind it faster.
That always seemed like when it would chew up the tape when you were rewinding it. At least for me.
Oh yeah, rewinders were not a perfect machine by any length.
Heck, there was a Jack Black movie called Be Kind Rewind.
Oh yeah, I never saw that. I forgot about that one.
Those are the rental places. You would go out and you'd rent a videotape, and then
If you didn't rewind it, they like charged you a fee.
Yeah. Then if your machine ate the tape, you had to buy the tape and you couldn't watch the tape again because it was messed up because your machine ate it. A simpler time.
I do want to say I'm very happy I no longer have to go to a machine to watch movies, like
Same.
renting movies. I'm happy with the streaming service stuff.
But you have to support Boxo or he's gonna die.
You could turn
Box
to
is going to
Redbox.
turn into a red box.
Yeah. He could show them anime movies. Could you imagine
Yeah.
if he could you imagine if he introduced anime to this world? They have no way to watch it.
on his little LCD screen.
He could vend the copy of the movie to himself. He could charge himself the points and then re-get the points for It's like, all right, I charge myself 5 points, and because I'm the vending machine, those 5 points go right back to me.
He's got that solar panel anyway. He's good. He doesn't need points.
during the day.
Yes.
Oh, but my thought is that Kiril's wish is probably to be filthy rich. So when he says he'll pay Boxo later, he's just gonna ask for a million billion gold, and just then he can pay Boxo in coins. And he said he had the same wish as the assistant captain, Philomena. So
Yeah.
she's money hungry as well. So I have a feeling their wish is exactly the same because he mentioned that they had the same wish.
Makes sense.
They want to dive into a pool of gold coins.
Scrooge McDucket.
Life is like a hurricane here in Duckworth.
Oh, and the I did want to throw it out there. Turtle had brought up Outlaw Star before,
Yeah.
and Gene always tells Fred when he borrows massive quantities of money from him. He says, "Don't worry, Fred. I'll pay you back when I make it big."
That's right.
That's how he's gonna pay him back. And Fred's like, "All right, well, you better make it big." And of course, he never does. Well, that we see. He might later, but not during the series.
That's true. Good show though.
As they leave the labyrinth, Boxer says, I only got to see it from above and in the middle. I'll probably never see this place again." And I thought, what a weird statement for someone to make. I bet he sees that place again.
We're gonna be there next episode.
So what did you guys think about these two episodes?
Yeah, I kind of like these actually. I felt like the show's been kind of hit and miss. Even like not even episode to episode, just like scene to scene, it's been kind of hit and miss. There's some good stuff, some not so good stuff. I thought both of these were actually pretty solid episodes. It feels like we finally hit a main plot, and Boxo really got to show off some of his crazy vending machine abilities now. So yeah, I would say these were pretty good episodes.
What do you think, Mike?
I really enjoyed these two episodes, especially compared to the last two episodes we watched. I love these two episodes. We got like a story, like a plot line, a story. Like it wasn't like the weird offshoots of the chains restaurant or the magic item expo or anything of that nature. And I think the episodes that really resonate with me more than any of them are the ones where it has like the video game logic to them. It's like, oh, I'm gonna upgrade my stats. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that. It's like, to me, those are the best episodes. Really, it's like, all right, I get it. Like, it's cool. I'm a video game player. Like, we've talked about video games a ton on this show. Like, it has the RPG element of like, oh, what can I upgrade with? Like, what can I spend these points on to upgrade? And like, so whenever the show has more of those elements, I think I like the episodes more.
I get that. I'm glad that 8 episodes in we finally know what the plot of the show is. And it's to collect coins to make wishes. And that's a good thing. I think that's a pretty solid. As a viewer, you start thinking, what does each character want? And you have the dilemma of Boxo, human or vending machine, human or vending machine. So we really have a little bit of intrigue. So not only did we get some pretty like fun action and meet some interesting new characters, the Devils, I think that we also got uh, we're just starting to have a lot of fun here. I'm having a lot of fun with the series, and I'm looking forward to the next two. And now it is time for the waifu of the week. Turtle, who is your waifu of the week?
This week, I'm gonna go with Boxo again. He almost killed all of his friends in a death trap, but besides that, he took out another, you know, labyrinth super boss, and he's got some brand new abilities, new vending machines to morph into, and he's starting to reach the often used isekai trope of being overpowered. And I feel like he's slowly starting to creep up to this overpowered level where he's just going to have some kind of crazy vending machine for every situation that's just going to save everybody. So I'm going to go with Boxo this week.
Mike, your waifu of the week.
I'm gonna go with the Voracious Devils, just because they're super adorable. They love to eat. They're a little dumb at times, but at the end of the day, they're super cute.
It's a dang good pick, actually.
Good new characters. I hope we see more of them.
Yeah, without them, Boxer doesn't make it out of the labyrinth. No one ever finds him.
That's true.
Or maybe they find him, but after a very long time. So it's a good pick. I went with Boxo. It's just really hard when all the characters pretty much do nothing, and Boxo defeats every single enemy. Just about. So, it's just like, what this vending machine brings to the table just feels... He feels broken even though he can't move on his own. Oh, so I'll pick Boxo. Thank you all for joining us this week as we watched Reborn as the vending machine. Or as a vending machine, I now wander the dungeon. We hope you join us next week for episode 33 of the Anime Banter podcast, where we will watch episodes 9 and 10 of Reborn as a vending machine, I now wander the dungeon. Please give us a 5-star review on all platforms that allow reviews. If you're listening on YouTube, please like the video, hit the notification bell, and leave a comment. Turtle, plug.
You can find me on my YouTube channel, RPG Treasure Trove. I sit down with a friend, Couch Co-op, and we play an RPG game. Currently, as of this recording, we are still playing Fallout 1, so check it out. Thank you so much.
As usual, I will plug the Deepman Files. We're still going through Season 2, so please give us a listen. Mike, anything?
Follow us on the socials. We're on Facebook, X, Instagram, YouTube. Hopefully getting on Blue Sky here soon in case X goes away. We're on Threads. If you are listening on YouTube, like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell. And on the socials, if you can, please share our posts, like them. Just help us get the word of mouth out there and help us beat the algorithms.
Thank you all for joining, and we'll talk to you next week.